Hey guys, it's April from Good Books and Good Wine. It's been like 21 days since my last book haul, and there are a ton of books to go through, so just sit tight, relax, and we'll get through all the books, and you may even find a few titles that totally spark your interest, like some that came in my mail that I did not expect, and now I'm like, yeah, this sounds awesome. Okay, so let's get started. First up, Mr. Miracle by Debbie Macomber. I got this from Amazon Vine. I've read it already. It's clearly a Christmas book. It's actually also going to be a Hallmark movie, and what this is all about is there's an angel named Harry Mills who comes to Earth, and he's a college English professor, and he has to help this girl, Addie Folsom, get her life back on track, and it's alright. I gave it 3 stars. Also from Amazon Vine, We All Looked Up by Tommy Wallach. I'm not sure how to say his last name. Anyways, this book is about an asteroid that comes into a collision with Earth's course in the days leading up to that, or actually really the weeks leading up to that. It's a lot like Tumble and Fall, only better. So I like it a lot so far, and I only have about 30 pages left to go. Unsolicited, I got a finished copy of Poisoned Apples by Christine Hepperman, Poems for You, My Pretty. I've read this already, and I liked it, but a lot of it went over my head, so I will say, though, that the finished version is really awesome. Like, it has pictures and illustrations inside, which is cool. And it's very slim. So I think if you're somebody that's more cerebral and smart, you're really going to enjoy Poisoned Apples. Also coming in unsolicited, The Clockwork Dagger by Beth Cato. And this looks like it's one of those steampunk type stories. It describes it as Dr. Quinn meets Dreadnought, which that sounds really cool. I am definitely going to read this because it sounds awesome. And I had never even heard of it until it showed up on my doorstep, so that's cool. From Amazon Vine, I picked out a copy of White Hot Kiss by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Seems like everybody I know is really into her books, so I want to give them a try beyond her new adult series, which I like so far. So I plan on reading this one really soon. I had a really good friend over at St. Martin's, and we were talking, and I was like, hey, do you know somebody that could hook me up with Endsinger by Jay Kristoff? And 2 days later, this shows up on my front porch, and it was freaking awesome. So I'm really, really excited to read Endsinger, The Lotus War Book 3. It's the last of his trilogy. I really want to know what happens to Buru and Yukiko, and I'm so excited for this book, and also really nervous for it too. From Penguin, I got a copy of Dreamer's Pool by Juliette Marillier. It's part of her Blackthorn and Grimm series. It's the first in a series, and this is a really kind of cool arc because it's like bound. It's not like a legit book. You know, like when you get arcs, they come and they look like actual books with a better binding. But I'm really, really excited to read this. Juliette Marillier is one of my favorite writers ever. So let's see what she has up her sleeve next. From Harper Teen, I got an unsolicited copy of Blackbird by Anna Carey. So this makes my second copy, which means that I'll likely read it. Also, it's really short, and I realized too that it's been getting mixed reviews, and I'm just going to ignore that and still read it because I'm legitimately interested in it. Also from Harper Teen, Echoes of Us by Kat Zhang. This is also my second copy. I haven't read any of the books in the trilogy yet, but I have all of the books in this trilogy, so I'm going to have to marathon read that. Yeah, sounds really cool. I got a really cool package of books from Harper Teen, and first on the package is The Prey by Tom Isabell. This is described as the Maze Runner meets the Hunger Games in this heart-pounding fight for freedom. I did see that Blythe was reading this the other day, and she wasn't too big of a fan, but I'll still give it a shot because it sounds pretty good. Willow Grove by Kathleen Peacock. This is the third in her Hemlock trilogy, which is about werewolves. I've only read the first one and I really liked it, so I really need to get into that second one and then get to this. So that will definitely be happening soon. Also, speaking of trilogies, I got A Cold Legacy by Megan Shepherd, and this is the finale to her Madman's Daughter trilogy. I haven't read the second book yet, but I really loved the first book, so I'm thinking that this is one that I want to read soon. Like, that I want to finish this trilogy out. Playlist for the Dead by Michelle Falkoff, and this is a debut novel, and it's described as part mystery, part love story, and part coming-of-age tale in the vein of the perks of being a wallflower and the spectacular now. So this sounds really good. I can't wait to read it. I love books about music, and I really, really like coming-of-age contemporary books. Also from Harper, Twisted Fate by Nora Olson, and this book is described as a dark psychological thriller that will set your heart racing. I'm really into that. I like thrillers these days. Like, I could not be more excited about the Gone Girl movie because the book was awesome. So, as you can imagine, I could not be more excited for this book either. And it looks relatively short. Yeah, it's... how many pages? Essentially, this is 260 pages, which, hello, you could whip through that in a day. So, yeah. Polaris by Mindy Arnett, and this is the sequel to Avalon, which I haven't read yet. And because I haven't read yet, this is kind of sufficient motivation to start that. From Amazon Vine, I got a copy of By Winter's Light by Stephanie Lawrence, and this is a Christmas romance set in her Sinster series. And you guys, I'm all about the Christmas romances, so this book I will be reading very soon. Yeah, even though it's September, I'm already reading Christmas romances. Like, I've read 2 so far this year, so yeah. From Harper's William Morrow division, I got an unsolicited copy of Stay With Me by Jay Lynn, aka Jennifer Armentrout, and I have to tell you guys, every single time I look at this book cover, the song Stay With Me by Sam Smith gets stuck in my head, and it's super awkward, but hey, that is what it is. Also from Amazon Vine, because I just have gotten all the Vine books, I got a copy of Stone Cold Touch by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and this is the sequel to White Hot Kiss. Is that the one that I have in my pile? Yes, White Hot Kiss. This is the sequel, so I thought I would continue on with this series. And watch, I'll probably read it and not even like it, and then I'll have to push myself through it. That would be awful. I'm not assuming that's going to happen, I'm just saying. Also from Amazon Vine, a arc of Princess of Thorns by Stacey J. And this is about Princess Aurora's mother, the Sleeping Beauty, died in her arms. And it says, once upon a time there lived a princess and a prince. Will they find their happily ever after? So pretty much, okay, this is about a warrior princess, and those 2 words together immediately grabbed my attention, so I am going to read this book this week. I'm so excited for it. It's going to be a really great read, I think. I've read one other book by Stacey J, Julia Immortal, and I loved that book. Like, I was sad for a couple days after reading it, but I loved it. Unsolicited from Harper Teen, A Thousand Pieces of You by Claudia Gray. I wish this had the book cover on it, but either way, I'm excited for it. It is, the back cover says, 1,000 lives, 1,000 possibilities, one fate. And it's about, like, mathematic parallels, and it's the first in a heart-racing, space and time-bending new trilogy that asks whether, amid infinite possibilities, one love can endure. Oh my god, that sounds exciting. Also, I really liked her one book about like werewolves on the Titanic. I can't remember the name of it right now, but that book was legit. So, and you know, a book about werewolves on the Titanic sounds kind of stupid, but give it a chance. It was really good. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to 1,000 Pieces of You, because if she can make werewolves aboard the Titanic work, then I think she can make this work too. Also coming in from Harper Unsolicited, Not a Drop to Drink by Mindy McGinnis. I love this book. It was really, really good. I actually recently reviewed it. I would highly recommend this to people that are into apocalypse books that are more about survival than they are like killing everybody. Like, this book is all about humanity and, you know, finding what it means to survive and furthermore to thrive and to connect with others. It was a really good book, so I would definitely recommend this one. And I'm really glad I read it. And I'm also really glad that they sent me a finished copy. And speaking of finished copies that they sent, they also sent the sequel, In a Handful of Dust, which I've also read and reviewed and really enjoyed. I'm really impressed by Mindy McGinnis' writing so far. I think she's got a bright career ahead of her. This book is a companion novel to Not a Drop to Drink. It's about Lucy, the little girl, in Not a Drop to Drink. Well, this is set 10 years later. No spoilers, but it's fantastic. There's a little bit of a road trip journey. There was one scene, though, that I read it, and I literally said out loud to myself as I'm reading it. I'm like, okay, actually, here's the impression of me. I'm, like, reading it, like, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And then we get to the part, and I'm like, holy fucking shit. And I had to, like, set it down just like that and, like, breathe for a couple seconds, and then, you know, pick it back up and read like the 50 pages that I had left. And yeah, this book elicited a holy fucking shit in real life reaction from me. It's really good. I definitely recommend it, and I also definitely recommend that you start out with Not a Drop to Drink. Although you could read both separately, like read one without having read the other, and you'll be just fine. So both really, really good books. Highly recommended. Also among books that I've already read that came in the mail, Tell Me Again How a Crush Should Feel by Sarah Farizan. This is her second book, and I've read it, I've reviewed it on the blog, and basically it's about this girl. She is a lesbian who's in the closet. She's also, I think she's Iranian. No, she's not Iranian. I don't remember. God damn it. Okay, so anyways, it's about this girl named Layla. She is a lesbian. She's not out of the closet or anything. She meets this other girl who's new to her school, who's also into girls, and they have this like torrid relationship, and it's pretty good. I really liked this. This is a good book about like identity and finding yourself, and I don't know. I liked it. I liked it a lot better than her debut, actually. Her debut was If You Could Be Mine. Well, this is better. So if you didn't like If You Could Be Mine, you might like this one. So, unsolicited from Harper, I got a copy of The Magic Thief Home by Sarah Prinius, and it's book 4 of the Magic Thief series. And unfortunately, I have not read books 1 through 3 of this series, and like I have to tell you guys, I am in love with this cover, and I really want to read this book, but I don't have the previous books in the series, and unfortunately at this moment I don't have reading time to pursue the other books in this series. And well, actually no, that's a lie. I do have reading time. I can do whatever I want with my reading. I just am not making it a priority. There's so many other books that I want to read first. Like, I want to finish Melina Marchetta's Lumateer Chronicles before I even think about picking up another series. So, unsolicited, I got a copy of The Spirit Glass Charade, a Stoker and Holmes novel by Colleen Gleason from Chronicle Books. I've never read The Clockwork Scarab, which is like the first book in the series, so I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with this. Like I said, I don't really have time to pursue new series that I'm not 100% on board with. Do you guys know what I mean? Like, you get a book in the mail and you're like, this could be interesting, but I just am too lazy to pursue that avenue right now. From Harper Teen, I got a finished copy of Exquisite Captive by Heather Demetrios, and I have to say, this finished copy is gorgeous. Like, I'm really glad that I have it in real life, and I know for a fact that I will be reading this book as soon as possible. There's just a lot of stuff going on my current reading pile, so yeah. From Macmillan, I got a finished copy of The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. I was on the blog tour for this, so this is like a thank you for being on the blog tour, and that makes me really excited because I loved this book. I could not recommend it highly enough. Like, I can't even. It was so good. Like, okay, so there's this girl, Princess Leia, and she is being forced to marry this guy. She doesn't know his name except he's from another kingdom, and she doesn't want to do that, even though, like, she's supposed to. So what does she do? She fucking runs away because she's a badass. And so then when she's running away, like, her lady-in-waiting, Paulette, comes with her, and so they run off to the ocean, and while they're there, they meet two men who are in disguise, but they don't know that they're in disguise. And the men, like, they know that Leia is Leia, but she is in disguise as, like, a fucking hotel person. I don't even know the term for it right now. Like a barmaid, kind of, but she does a little bit more than barmaiding. And anyways, she's awesome. Like, instead of sitting there being like, oh my god, my nails, I'm not living in luxury, I don't have feather beds. No, she digs her hands in there and she works. And this book is so good. And okay, there's a lot of swoon-worthy moments, and I think this copy has a map, which, okay, if a book has a map, like, you know it's for real. Actually, maybe it doesn't have a map in here. Okay, I don't see a map, so let's just pretend I didn't say that it had a map. But anyways, this book, even though it doesn't have a map, like, it is for real. You need to get your hands on this book. I loved it. Loved it. Like, if you're into kissing and magic and romance and world building, this is the book for you. Like, legit. Which, why am I using legit so much? I'm fucking 27. I should know other words. Okay, and the last book on my book haul today is actually sort of an outlier. Like, it's really weird compared to the other books that I got. And that is Creatures of the Deep by Eric Hoyt. And the subtitle is In Search of the Sea's Monsters and the World They Live In. And, okay, you guys are probably like, why does she have a giant hardcover book about fish in the deep? Okay, first off, fish, they are my #1 biggest phobia aside from the floors of my apartment collapsing from all my books. And I know you guys probably think that I am just kidding you about that fear, but it's real. Like, if a certain somebody whose name I'm no longer allowed to mention on videos because of certain things, like, sits on the couch and is pulled too close to the TV and we have all of our bookshelves lying around, I get, like, really freaked out. I'm like, no, you need to push that couch back so our floor doesn't collapse in the middle. So, yeah, like, it's an actual obnoxious phobia. So, yeah, anyways, my second phobia being fish. I don't know. This was in my Amazon Vine queue, and I was like, yeah, this sounds really cool. So then you open it up, and inside there's, like, all these awesome pictures, and I don't know, like, writing and just constant pictures, and yeah, like, to me, that's awesome. And this is such a cool looking finished copy with, like, presentation, and I don't know, sometimes I just need a break from princesses fighting demons and kids being angsty in high school and, you know, steampunk. And I just want to read about something that's real in real life and with pictures. So this is what I picked. And I realized that, yes, it's so different from what I normally read, but I'm going to read the fuck out of this book and learn all about disgusting fish that live on the bottom of the ocean. And look at this ugly thing. I'm going to learn what it is. Okay, guys. And that's me being really excited about this giant book on creatures of the deep and all of the other books in my haul. Let me know down in the comments what's in your haul, and hopefully I will be less lazy and I'll see you next week. If not, have a great reading month and we'll catch up in October, okay? Okay.